Welcome to the RTL tutorial. The first example, the figure shows that the RTL is implemented through a bus. The notation h m to r means that the variable h is equal to 1 and the signal goes from m to r. Since the load of the D flip-flop r is equal to 1, it accepts signal from any source, and since the buffer variable h is equal to 1, it is the only buffer that will allow a signal to pass along the bus, allowing D flip-flop M signal to pass. The next notation j is equal to 1 since the load of the D flip-flop M has variables j and n connected in an OR gate, either variable will activate the load. D flip-flop M will accept signal from any source, but only buffer j will allow signal to pass along the bus. In the next notation, n is equal to 1. Again, the load of the D flip-flop M has variables j and n. Since n is equal to 1, D flip-flop M will accept signal from any source, but only buffer n will allow signal to pass along the bus. Since n is equal to 1, D flip-flop Y will also accept signal from any source, but only buffer n will allow signal to pass along the bus. The last notation denotes that O is equal to 1. Therefore, D flip-flop A will accept signal from any source, but only buffer O will allow signal to pass along the bus. The next example, in this figure the RTL is implemented through a bus with a multiplexer. In order to determine which signal will be allowed to pass, we will convert the binary value of the selectors to decimal form. The first notation h is equal to 1 and therefore the flip-flop r will accept signal from an allowed source. Since variable h is not used in the selectors, S1 and S0 would be equal to 0. Binary form 0, 0, decimal 0. Therefore, input 0 will allow the signal. The next notation j is equal to 1 and therefore d flip-flop m will accept signal from an allowed source. Variable j is used in selector 0, so S0 is equal to 1. Binary 0, 1, decimal is equal to 1. Therefore, input 1 will allow the signal to pass along the bus. The next notation, n is equal to 1. D flip-flop m and y will accept signal from an allowed source. Since variable n is used in both selector, S1 is equal to 1 and S0 is equal to 1. Binary 1, 1, decimal is equal to 3. Therefore, input 3 will allow signal to pass along the bus. The last notation, O is equal to 1 and therefore D flip-flop A will accept signal from an allowed source. Since variable O is used in the selector S1, S1 would be equal to 1. Binary 1, 0, decimal 2. Therefore, input 2 will allow the signal to pass along the bus. Thank you for watching.